can't say, oh, I don't think he needs that. They have to know inside why he's doing it.
Teddy, talking about Mike Tyson, you named Mike there. There's reports of him medically going through an emergency. He seems to be okay and well now, but I do need to ask you, a lot of people are saying, does this fight with Jake Paul now need to happen? Obviously, it seems like he is going through some medical issues. Does this fight with Jake Paul need to happen in your eyes?
You know, that the way you ask that question, Orny, and you're a straightforward guy, and you ask a straightforward question. That's not for me to answer. Does it need to happen? That's for Mike. Well, what does he need in his life? You know, he's accomplished so much. He's been a great heavyweight champ, youngest heavyweight champ in the world. That ain't disappearing. That ain't disappearing. You know, he's done all that. He's come back from difficult times. He's come back with. I'm glad any human being that can go overcome something, I'm happy. Just because I always want good feelings towards my family. I you know, my children, my grandchildren. So anybody who can come back in life and succeed in life, and I don't mean succeed by winning fights. I mean succeed by being happy, by doing what they want to do. I'm glad. And so that question is for him. Does he need, at this point in his life, he's come back, he's made money, he's you know, all those things. People like him, people even love him. All of that. He's iconic now. Does he need it? It's not for Teddy Atlas to answer. Does he need it? And not does he need it for his bankroll. I don't think that's the question here. I know most people are going to probably say, no, Teddy, that's the question. It's always about money. I don't know. Does he need it for something else? Does he need it, you know, does he need it for some inner craving that, you know, to be relative in a way that he wants to be relative again, even though he is relative. He's one of the great heavyweights, the youngest heavyweight of all time. So he is. But you can't judge somebody for them. They have to know what it is. You can't say, oh, I don't think he needs that. They have to know inside why he's doing it, what is obviously incentivizing him, what is pushing him, what is beckoning him to come back at 58, whatever age he is. I think he's 58 years old, to come back and fight a young guy. But a young guy who, of course, is still not a quality near what he was. You know, a young guy who's still an amateur. A pro, don't get me wrong, I'm taking nothing away from Jake Paul. He respects the sport. He went out there, he worked hard to become a boxer, and he's still a work in progress. And I respect that he's respected the sport, that he's done that. And he deserves all credit for that. But obviously, when you compare him to what Tyson was, I mean, I think it's fair to say an amateur in that way, you know, even though he's a pro and he's fighting pros. He's obviously a guy who is still learning his trade against a guy who's 58 who mastered his trade. Maybe that's the fair way to say it. But I just hope that whatever the decision is at the end of the day, from what I heard, it's still on. But whatever the decision is, it's the right decision for the right reason. That it's important to Mike for reasons that we don't have to know, but he has to know. You know, that's all that matters. And I hope that he's obviously healthy, and that the two of them, when it's all over with, will have, you know, satisfy what they want to satisfy. And it's up to the fans. Nobody's out there putting a gun to the fans' head saying, you know, because I hear a lot of people saying, oh, it's a joke, it's this, it's set up, it's that. But I don't see no one putting a gun to you and saying you got to go buy it. You know, that's up to you to find out whether or not it's whatever you contrive it to be in your mind. It's up to you to go out there and whether or not you want to watch or not watch. But I tell you, the interesting thing about it is that if it was legitimate, like if it was really, you know, not something that was agreed to, if it's really just legitimate, they're both going to go in there. Jake at 28 years of age, much younger, but but also much greener. If he's going to go in there and give it his all, which he always does when he gets in the ring. If Tyson at 58 is going to go there and give whatever his all is at this point, I'll tell you one thing, the first 2 rounds, if that was the case, would be awfully interesting, because one thing that punchers can do, even when they get old, they can still punch. Maybe only for 1 round, maybe only for 1.5 rounds, 2 rounds, but they can still punch. So that would get your curiosity a little bit if, and that's a big if, that was the case.